Gentlemen, welcome to today's briefing. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here as we dive into a truly fascinating explainer on Manus AI. What we're exploring today is not just some minor update to the software you already use. It represents a profound paradigm shift. We are moving straight out of conventional conversational software and directly into the realm of autonomous execution. If you want to know exactly where digital productivity is heading, you are in the right place. Let's get right into it.
Here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We'll be covering the blocked deal, the agent paradigm, automating the everyday, the virtual manager, scaling work and code, and finally, an employee in your pocket. All right, let's go.
Section 1, the blocked deal. Just listen to the sheer scale of the numbers involved here. According to the source material, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg reportedly threw down a staggering 17,000 crores to acquire Manus AI. That's a massive play. It was essentially a strategic maneuver to secure a definitive victory for Meta in the highly competitive AI landscape, basically trying to buy the intelligence that was quietly outperforming everyone else.
But that acquisition never actually happened. The Chinese developers and regulators took one look at this intelligence and saw it as far more than just a piece of software. They viewed it as definitive proof of competitive technological parity on the global stage. So they completely blocked the deal, ensuring this tech remained out of Silicon Valley's direct control. Simple as that.
Moving to Section 2, the agent paradigm.
So, what is the big deal? Well, you've got to understand this fundamental shift. The AI you likely use today, like ChatGPT or Claude, acts like a really smart colleague. You ask for advice, it waits for your input, and if it hits an error, it just stops and waits for you to fix it. Manus, though, Manus is the employee you actually hire to execute the job. It literally drives the browser autonomously, diagnoses its own coding errors, and ultimately hands you finished work. It's wild.
Section 3, automating the everyday.
Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Through a simple Chrome extension, Manus securely takes control of your browser to run complex, multi-step shopping tasks. In our sources field test, it navigated Amazon to find a wireless mouse, cross-check the reviews for the top 3 options, and drop the best one into the cart. And here's the absolute kicker. When it hit a random website error page, it didn't give up. It autonomously navigated back and tried again, entirely on its own. It only paused at the very end so the human could enter a secure OTP.
Think about the return on your time, gentlemen. When you consider all the manual clicking, the form filling, the comparing of options we do on Amazon or Zomato every single week, delegating those mundane browser tasks equates to reclaiming roughly 25 hours of your year. That is huge. And it's not just stuck in the web browser. Imagine pointing this thing at that chaotic, totally disorganized downloads folder we all have. It doesn't just lazily sort files. Astonishingly, it actually writes its own Python code on the fly to extract metadata from your PDFs. And if that Python script encounters a syntax error, Manus reads the error, decides Python was the wrong tool, and autonomously switches straight to shell commands without you prompting it once. Boom. Mere minutes later, you have a perfectly categorized digital archive and a tracking spreadsheet.
Section 4, the virtual manager. Now, if you are a founder running Meta ads, this is an absolute leap in efficiency. Manus can securely connect to your ad accounts, meticulously scrub through your active campaigns, and generate sophisticated analyst reports. But it doesn't just dump numbers on you. It provides strategic actions. It tells you to scale a campaign because your return on ad spend is healthy, or to pause one immediately because the cost per conversion is bleeding money. It would normally run you about 20,000 to 50,000 rupees a month.
On the admin front, it is basically an impeccable shield against workplace stress. It totally eradicates that dreadful anxiety of logging back into work after a long weekend. By scanning through hundreds of chaotic Slack channels, it distills 2 whole days of missed tags and messages into a single, clean table in under 30 seconds. It saves your time for sure, but more importantly, it saves your emotional energy.
Section 5, scaling work and code. Let's talk about brute force execution. Say you're tasked with influencer research. Manus doesn't just search one profile at a time. No, it spins up 200 dedicated AI agents to run in parallel. They aggressively scrape data from multiple databases at the exact same time, building a comprehensive, perfectly formatted spreadsheet of 200 influencers in just 30 minutes. That is a task that would literally take a human analyst days of soul-crushing manual labor.
Even more remarkably, check out its ability to code. The source asked Manus to build a functional client onboarding mobile app using React Native, which is a highly professional framework. It completely bypassed the traditional 2 to 6 month developer timeline and that typical 2 to 10 lakh rupee fee. Manus scaffolded the project, generated a logo, wrote the screens, and delivered a working, testable prototype straight to a mobile phone in exactly 20 minutes. Just wow.
Section 6. An employee in your pocket.
So how does this integrate into your actual life? By connecting directly to Telegram, this autonomous agent effectively lives right in your pocket. Picture this. You're walking to your car and you record a quick one-line voice note. The agent instantly starts researching context, pulling data, finding citations. By the time you sit down, your phone buzzes with a heavily researched, 6-page, fully cited document.
Gentlemen, this is the capability that alters not just how you work, but how you live. You can research business targets while walking between meetings. You can draft incredibly complex client replies from the back of a cab. You can snap a photo of a whiteboard and have it converted into a structured action plan before you even get back to your office. It handles deep, finished labor while you are entirely away from your physical desk.
Our source hit the nail on the head with this quote. Once you actually witness an AI delivering parallel processed finished work instead of just politely answering your questions, the distinction becomes absolutely impossible to unsee. You realize you have transitioned from a helpful little digital tool to an actual digital operative.
Which brings our briefing to a close, leaving you to consider the profound implications of bringing such a sophisticated operative into your own workflow. What heights will your productivity reach when you finally hire an autonomous employee that never, ever sleeps? When you're no longer bogged down by the mundane, what will you build? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, gentlemen, and I look forward to exploring our next topic with you soon.